Let's take just a few moments to get grounded together. So finding your comfortable seat, you can ground your eyes in the space or close your eyes if that feels more comfortable. Just starting to bring your attention into what level of being you're most resonating with right now. What's the loudest channel? Is it the mind, the emotions, or the body talking to you? And just start to observe that, shining some light on it. Noticing the qualities. If it's in the body, notice where it feels grounded, where it feels light. If it's in the mind, noticing if the thoughts are past, future, or present. And if it's in the heart, is there a place in the body that you might tune into this energy of emotion? And starting to sync up your breath with your intention. And we'll sync up our breath together with the sound of Om. Breathing in. Okay, welcome. And you all that are here can see everyone online, I think. I'm going to put it in speaker mode so that whoever speaks will be highlighted on our screen. So welcome, Brett, Daryl, and Jamie, graduates of Sattva Yoga Therapy. So excited to get to chat with you today and hear about what you're doing and share and inspire those of us that aren't quite in clinicals yet. So we are all in the program. First or second year students and not quite in our practicum yet. So excited to see your faces. Oh my goodness. Hello. So great to see you. Oh, my heart. All right. So I'm going to jump into questions if that's okay. And first I'm going to have you introduce yourself and talk about the work that you're doing, what your professional practice in yoga therapy looks like right now. What are you doing as either a yoga therapist or integrating it as a wellness professional? So, Daryl, you're first on my screen. Want to introduce yourself and let us know what you're doing?
Hi, everybody. Regardless of what the name says, that's
Yeah,
not my name. It's Daryl.
you're not Ron.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not Ron. Well,
Okay.
I'm not sure some days, but that's a different thing. We're not talking about that. So sorry about that. Um, so I think I graduated in 24. Yeah, December of
Okay.
24. Yeah.
24. Yeah, I
That's when I
think
got my
so.
certification. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, So to answer the question about what my practice looks like now, it's very small on purpose. I kept it that way because that's what I was aiming for um, when I went into it. And I have a dedicated space in my house for yoga therapy. And I'm retired and nobody's home, and it's just exquisitely quiet and just beautiful. My daughter designed it for me. She's an interior designer. So, yeah. So, I love this space, and most people that come in really like it too. Um, and how it started was kind of strange because it's nothing I did. So, during my practicum, We had this thing, remember me, Danny, where I thought it was like 500 hours, but it wasn't
Yeah.
really 500 hours.
Yeah. I remember Jenny was your mentor and she's like, Daryl just keeps going and going. You were like the
Oh
Energizer
my
bunny.
God.
And just
I had so many people coming through here. And what happened was they would say, I have a friend who could really benefit from this. And I was like, okay, well, I'm thinking to myself, I could just make a wait list.
Mhm.
And I did make a wait list. And it's a year later, I'm still working through that wait list. So
Wow.
I know it's,
Just word of mouth.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
just word of mouth, which is what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Um, the way like my nature is, I do well one-on-one with individuals. That's what I
Mhm.
really love. And I wanted to bring that, really loving that to my practice.
Yeah.
So I wanted it to be just that, like
Mhm.
people telling people. And luckily it worked out that way. So I take one client a day, 5 days a week.
Great.
And because I'm retired.
Yeah. One
And
client a day, 5 days a week.
5 days
Awesome.
a week. And I'm lucky enough to be able to do that in
Mhm.
the position that I'm in right now, financially in my life.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's really, for me, for what I envisioned it is exactly how I saw it.
Good.
And I totally love it.
Mm.
I could not imagine my life without it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is just an amazing thing. And the gifts that I receive from the people that I work with
Mhm.
are just elegant.
Mm.
It's phenomenal. And my growth as an individual, as a human being, the growth in my heart and my spirit is coming from that work.
Mm. Yeah.
So, so it's just like every time I come downstairs, well, I have a yoga therapy client today. What's going to happen?
Yeah. Do you work with them an hour a day or two?
It depends on a lot of things. Of course, it depends on where they're at in that moment, on that day when they walk in, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So sometimes we stay together for 2 hours. Sometimes we stay together for an hour and a half, sometimes 45 minutes. It just depends on what they need or what time they have, what frame they have. So
Yeah.
because it's such a small practice and
Yeah.
because I have that ability, it
Yeah.
really is what they need that day.
Mm. Very cool.
And I love that part of it. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And so
Beautiful.
that's it. Yeah.
All right. Wonderful. Good. Who wants to introduce themselves next? Brett? See you leaning in. Hello. Welcome back.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Daryl, it's so nice to see you.
Oh, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I love your hair.
Oh, thanks. There's not much of it, but it works.
It's rocking. It's rocking. No, it's so good to see you and hear your voice. And hi, Danny. It's so nice to see you.
Hey, so good to see you.
The whole environment. Jamie, I don't think I had you in class maybe like, I think you were presenting. I think you graduated way before me, but I remember you. So it's good to meet you.
Yeah.
Uh, and hello to everyone else. No, I'm just so happy to be here. My heart feels very full.
Mm.
Yeah, so let's see. I think I got my certification not even a year ago. It took me a really long time just because like life happened. And I think that's like one of the beautiful things about prana is, that consistent dialogue of like they're very supportive as life happens and understanding. So for me, it took a little bit longer, but finally did it. And since then, let's see. So I teach a lot of yoga. I teach a lot of group yoga. I'm 20, how old am I? I'm 27. So it's like my full-time thing is teaching yoga. And it's a lot, but it's, it's what I love to do. So I teach a lot of group classes, which has been great. And although they're not yoga therapy, it's not like a prana yoga studio. A lot of my students would tell you if you asked, Brett's class is therapy. It's very much the therapy is embedded in it, and that's my offering and that's my gift, and I love to do that. On top of that, I also have private clients who I see. So I have one of my clients, I've been working with for like nearly 4 years. I started with him for practicum, and I see him every single week. And, it's just like, you know, I think it's probably going to be the rest of his life. I think that's the beauty of yoga therapy is it's meets you exactly where you are as you evolve and as you grow. And as you'll learn with Ayurveda, it's every season, it's like, all right, what do we need? How can we adapt? So that's been really cool. I also do a lot of, I present at my local library. So every season it's become very popular. Every season I go in and I do a 30-minute Ayurveda presentation. And then I do an hour-long seasonal pacifying practice where I educate everyone on some major things that they can do in their own time, like stretches, postures, and breath work that can help them throughout the season. So that's been really cool. And I'm also in the process of just building my own kind of personal entrepreneurial yoga therapy brand. So lots happening, and I think that's the beauty of it. There's so many different ways that you can take it. So yeah.
Yeah. It's called Four Moons, right? Is it?
Yeah. So 4 moons, near and dear to my heart.
Yeah. Okay.
um,
Mhm.
but I think, yeah,
Yeah.
it's now called Be Well with Brett. So
Okay.
I think I
Okay.
changed the name,
Yeah. Okay.
but very much the same thing. Yeah, that's a
Very.
newer thing. So you were right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Wonderful. Great to see you. And Jamie, welcome. Yeah, Jamie was in when we were just all in person at first. And then I think we transitioned it, like through the COVID. You were here.
Yes.
All right. Well, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me. Danny, I thought the same thing when I saw your face. I was like, oh, my heart just leapt.
No, same. I know. Yeah.
Yes, Danny is one of my strong she heroes. She rose.
Oh,
On
I
my
love
list of mentors, if I have a question throughout this journey, I know I can reach out to Danny. So hello everyone, my name is Jamie Lewis. I graduated, oh my goodness, so it must have been 20, I want to say beginning of 2023 or 20.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's sad. I cannot remember now. 2022 or 2023. Like it's
Yes.
flying by. And my goodness, my practice. So by trade, I'm a physician and I'm certified in internal medicine, hospice and palliative medicine, and lifestyle medicine. So my kind of day job, as I call it, is actually a hospice medical director. And I use our practice as a yoga therapist and lifestyle medicine consultant for my side gig, which right now is just my name, Jamie K. Lewis, LLC. And my focus is mostly working with people with cancer diagnoses or chronic pain. And that can be cancer-related chronic pain or even non-cancer pain, but mostly working with chronic pain and cancer. I have 4 regular clients right now that I usually see weekly. A couple have kind of come and dropped off, but 4 right now who are consistent. And kind of like Daryl, I'm keeping it small as well, not because I'm retired, but because I have a full-time job. But this is, I say that the full-time job, while it's great, I joke sometimes and I'm like, that pays the bills, but my side gig feeds my heart. So I need both. I definitely need both. And sometimes the weeks can get a little hectic when I'm squeezing everybody in, but I still love it. So my sessions with my clients are 75 minutes. And again, I see them weekly. And it's usually the 75-minute sessions are primarily therapeutic yoga. So we're doing a combination of awareness practices, breathing practices, and some physical postures, gentle movement. It's very much gentle movement. The average age of my clients is probably like in the late 60s or 70s. And so I'm usually working with older adults. So it's a lot of gentle flows. And I tell people that because, I've gotten referrals as well through word of mouth, which is great because they kind of need to hear, people need to hear from someone like when they say, oh yeah, my yoga therapist, and she's also a doctor. And then they're like, what? What is
Yeah.
this? Who are you seeing? Who's your therapist? And then that, when they hear like, oh, it's not just yoga, like it's gonna be something completely different. To hear it from someone who's been doing it, for some time with me, it makes them feel a lot more comfortable. And like everyone else has already said, the sessions are tailored to the individual. So really whatever it is that they're, going through. But because it's I work with older clients, I would say it's primarily Vata pacifying practices. So again, a lot of slow things. And the way I incorporate lifestyle medicine, which I really love as a field because it's kind of like the Western version of Ayurveda. It's a couple fields we have, I think, in the Western health field, I'll say, is that kind of integrative medicine. You may have heard of that, lifestyle medicine. You could even maybe argue like naturopathic medicine, but I tend to favor lifestyle medicine just because it's so holistic in that the pillars of lifestyle medicine really kind of mirror Ayurveda as far as using nutrition, kind of plant-based eating patterns, regular movement and exercise, stress relief practices, sleep routines, sleep health to really kind of prevent health issues. And in some cases, even improve and cure a lot of health diseases, especially chronic diseases. So we're seeing that a lot. So I kind of have a little of a unique mixture. Like anyone who comes to me, say if they are actually coming to me more for yoga therapy, after they've done all of their, kind of paperwork, it's a series of assessments, health assessments that I have them complete. And those health assessments are Ayurvedic and lifestyle in nature. So then I am getting a sense of what their baseline constitution is and where their imbalances are. And then even if they're like, I really want to do the yoga stuff, I want to, help with my pain, I want to, release stress, help with my anxiety. And that after they meet with me in their initial consultation, I still give them, it's like a document that template that I got. And I still give them kind of a series of, or some advice on lifestyle interventions, Ayurvedic interventions that will help with some of the goals that they're seeking. And then, they have that information, they can ask questions about it. But it's kind of like, it's usually like maybe about 3 pages long. And it's a summary of what they've shared with me, a summary of their goals. And then, hey, here are some interventions regarding eating, exercise, movement, stress release, whatever it is that they want to work on. They have that in that document and they get that after their first session with me or their first consultation, which is free also. So they get that. And then I've had maybe a couple of people who have come to me solely for lifestyle medicine, counseling, and kind of Ayurvedic advice. And then usually I've seen them maybe for like, I would say like 3 to 6 months, and then they kind of have their stuff and they go away. So it's mostly the people who are mostly really the clients that I have who are interested in like weekly yoga therapy. That's kind of been like my base of clients. And then lastly, I do also offer seasonal events. Some are in person, some are virtual. And that's again kind of my kind of mantra, and I got it a little bit from, I definitely got it from Danny, is kind of balance living throughout the seasons. And so, I have a winter, like all 4 seasons. This is my first year actually getting all 4 in. I was like,
Nice.
yay, I did it. I think
Yay.
last year we tackled 2 seasons, and I was like, yes, this year we got all 4 seasons in. And there'll be different themes. I've collaborated with people in the community. One woman who does like sound baths. We did a couple of events. We had one event at the very beginning of the year, which was awesome. It was a women's circle. That was my first time doing a women's circle, and it was so lovely. We sold out, and it was like 20 some women, and it was just amazing. Like everyone in a circle too. So that was cool. Um, the one I just did in the summer was actually a series where I called it Yoga Breakfast, where Saturday mornings we would come together and start out with like a 30-minute kind of gentle yoga flow. And then we would head into the kitchen. And I did a little demonstration. I'm not a chef, but it was more talking about it, educating on like plant-based eating. And so I had like a little menu of different foods and stuff. So, and then we just talked about like if it was oatmeal, like, okay, let's talk about, fiber and the importance of fiber. So that one I got a lot of, and it was all virtual, so it was and free. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, that's where I am right now. I was gonna say, Daryl, I totally connect with you right now. My dream is to have a home studio office as well, to be able to see people one-on-one. So my place is literally under construction right now. I'm coming to you from a closet because there's nowhere else for me to go in my in my house right now.
Yes.
My
So Daryl,
God.
when I heard you say you had a studio, I was like, oh, I can't wait until mine is done.
Oh, I
Yeah.
was so excited. It'll be wonderful.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
I think that's the dream. It's so
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Maybe this for me too. I like that. But this is in my backyard, so pretty
Yeah.
close.
It's just an
Yeah.
easy commute.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool, Jamie. I love that it's so integrated. Like when they come to you, they get the lifestyle medicine and it's so integrated because Ayurveda is right there and you really know the depth of it too because you've gone through the whole training. So how about you, Brett and Daryl? How does Ayurveda, how do you integrate that into your yoga therapy practice? Does it inform the yoga therapies that you choose or the protocols, or how do you integrate that? Or do you take initial assessments and kind of get it right off the bat?
Brett, you want to go first or?
Yeah, sure. I can go. Yeah, so I think for me, I definitely take an intake form. I think that's pretty baseline for any new client that I have. And and to continue that like conversation throughout working with clients, continuously checking in on some of my clients I do so some clients I have more Ayurveda than yoga therapy. So I also did additional training for Ayurveda. So for example, I mean, it's like a consistent checking in on like, how's your digestion? How are you feeling? How's your mind? And that checking in, it never really stops once you, because Ayurveda, it's living, right? It's alive. And, one of my clients, she is going to Florida every other week. And it's like, she's coming back to Connecticut and then to Florida and, the seasons and the temperature. So it's constant checking in with. But in terms of, I forget like the exact question, how I integrate Ayurveda into my work. So I think it was like on Kripalu's social media once they said this, that like I knew this before, but it just clicked so well for me where it said, because so many people, wonder like, what is the difference between yoga and yoga therapy? And they just said it very simply, Ayurveda is what makes yoga therapeutic. And I loved that because I was like, that really hit home for me because, we're using the tools, the yoga tools, the philosophy the postures, the breath work, but it's the Ayurvedic awareness and integration that really is what makes it therapeutic for all of my clients. So, for example, like I would agree with Jamie. Most of my clients, it's vata pacifying. Um, so like a very simple example is, meeting them where they're at, which is usually in their head, and then bringing them down into their body through a meditation or a breath guidance. Like I think that's a very, simple example, but really just using Ayurveda to help me determine, okay, what tools do I want to use today? Yeah. I think
Yeah, it kind of points, that's what we've been saying a lot over this weekend. The Ayurveda points to the yoga therapy that you use with the client. And I love that you mentioned like it's an ongoing dialogue, like every check-in, how did you sleep? How, did you go to the bathroom today? What's your elimination like? And you're kind of checking in to see how that is with your client. So yeah, it's that
Oh yeah,
ongoing conversation.
absolutely. Yeah. So that's me.
Beautiful. Awesome. How about you, Daryl?
So the one thing that I always find so interesting is because my assessment is partially Ayurvedic and, partially yoga. So the best one though, that everybody just, I'm just like, okay, so the Ayurvedic assessment of the face and the tongue and the, fingernails, that whole kind of visual assessment, right? So somebody will come in and I'll say, okay, now, if you're comfortable, I'd like to be able to sit in front of you fairly close and look at your face. Because this is an Ayurveda, and I explain what Ayurveda is ahead of time and that this is what the assessment is. And if you're okay with that, can we, go ahead and go on with it? And every single time I sit down in front of somebody, it's such an icebreaker because they just start laughing. Because
Yeah.
you're staring at somebody like 4 inches from their face, right?
Right.
And you're looking, you're not talking to them because you're looking at
Just
things.
looking. Yeah.
You're just looking. And they'll start laughing. I'll say, you could just look over my head if you want. Just look right over my head, like I'm not.
Yes.
So to create that connection in that way, using that as that wonderful tool, and
Yeah.
we have a little laugh, and then everybody relaxes, and their nervous system
Yeah.
kind of relaxes a little bit.
Mm.
So that to me is like, I love that part of it. But the tools, all the tools, like if I take a dosha, Vikriti and Prakriti, the whole thing, and then put that together, and you can see where the imbalances are. If you do the mental constitution assessment, and you do all of those, the same ones that we learned to do in class, when I sit down to chart, every single time, each one is like a marker that, yes, that is occurring. Yes, that is occurring. Yes, that is occurring. It's almost like the diagnosis of if this is matching, is if the Ayurvedic assessment is matching with the intake and
Yeah.
what they're telling me, then I have a really good starting place to offer
Yeah.
particular things. So I just love the
Yeah.
way it falls together as a whole. And it reminds me every time it happens and I'm doing the initial charting, I'm like, it's yoga. It's the yoking together. It's the twins. It's Ayurveda and yoga. They're coming together every single time. I'm just like, it
I
works. It
love
works.
that. It works. It works. And it's always surprising, right? Because
Every time.
it's relationship and you can't, like for me, I get lost in the relationship and I love that you're still charting. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I have
You
to
have to
chart.
because
Yeah.
it does give you that ability to go back. And then I'm just like, wow, it really does work. It's very affirming.
It is so amazing. And it really helps with so free flow of consciousness. So once I've done the assessment and I've done the initial charting and I see, some samskara and I see certain things,
Cool.
then I do a free flow of thought consciousness sheet where possibilities to offer. And I
Nice.
just let my mind go, right?
Amazing.
I tuck that away in their chart. And then we proceed. And as the time goes by, sometimes I'll look back in there and I'll go, oh yeah, we did that. Oh yeah, that worked. So
Yeah.
it's kind of that to me is the instinctual side of it,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yep.
that free flow of consciousness. Like
Yeah.
we know, but frequently I second guess myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that as my little like cheat sheet, sort of like, yeah, well, my
Mm-hmm.
intuition was, correct that time. And sometimes it's off, sometimes
Yeah.
it isn't. But
I love
yeah,
that.
the wholeness, if I use when I use all the tools, it's just amazing. It's this beautiful piece of information that is it encompasses the whole person,
Yeah.
right? Like physical, mental, spirit. I mean, it's just all the koshas, right?
Yeah.
I get
Yes.
excited. I'm real excited about the koshas when I start explaining koshas to my to my yoga therapy wellness seekers. They're just like,
Yes.
what is that? What is that? But as we go along, and then we have check and we have conversations, I'm always bringing it back to, oh, that's your kosha, or that's this, or anything that we have had client education about. It's always part of the conversation as continually flowing through.
I love.
Yeah, because there's so much non-judgment and
Mhm.
non-attachment in the doshas and the koshas and the understanding of those concepts for
Mhm.
people that I very seldom have anybody that isn't open to receiving information about themselves in that way.
Really? So you do use that language with them too? They're open and excited to learn that.
Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah,
Very cool.
yeah.
Thank you so much for giving us a glimpse into your process too. That's really fascinating. You have the framework, and I love your creative free form ideas that you.
Yeah, that's fun. That's
Yeah, it's fun to write down, to see it, write it
100%.
down.
So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's great. And I do feel like, we have to be careful sometimes using that language. We can overwhelm, and we
Mhm.
feel overwhelmed in learning it. And maybe you guys
Right,
can remember that too. And also, it does take the judgment out, because we're not saying we're depressed. We're saying we
right.
feel this tamas, and tamas is the quality of heavy and dull. And even this language, because it's a feeling language, invites people into their bodies. And just
Mhm.
like Brett said, that's what we've been saying, like, my job is to bring them into their bodies. And she'll start with that awareness and the kind of meditation to bring them into the bodies. And the language is meant to bring us into the bodies too.
Oh
So
yeah,
I love how you
100%.
use that as part of your practice.
Yes. And it's little pieces, it's little kramas, right? So I don't start off with it.
Trauma.
Yeah, I don't promise.
Yeah.
I don't start
Yeah.
off with the big concept, right? It's
Yeah.
just like if
Yeah.
there's one thing that we're working on, particularly, I'll name that
Yeah.
Ayurvedic or yoga or whatever, and then give it, and then we always come back to it. And it seems to be received pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Good.
And let's see what else. And also, how is Ayurvedic?
Mm-hmm.
Again, the check-in is so important, because what I found and what people have said to me as feedback is that I'll ask a question about, how was your elimination, or how was your whatever. And the first round of asking that question to check in, people are very, I don't know. I don't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
just asking the question creates the awareness,
Yes.
your body awareness. So many times, like, what
Yeah.
was that like for you? What was that?
Yeah.
Asking those questions is all part of the fabric that you weave in, right? To people
Yeah.
being more aware and being in their bodies.
Yeah.
And people will say, some of my clients have said, I don't know. I don't like one of the questions I have on my intake. It's a little separate sheet that I have. And one of them is, what part of your body are you most aware of most of the time?
Mm-hmm.
And people will say, uh, my mind.
Mm.
And then I'm like, okay, so, we definitely need to be working. We're going to come in sideways through the body and kind
Yeah.
of like override the mind there a little bit. It'll still be there and it'll be fine because we need that, right? But sideways through the body, and then everything else seems to fall. It's like a Tetris. Everything falls into place
Yeah.
if you come in
Mm-hmm.
sideways through the body. So yeah, so just just asking those questions brings awareness.
Yes, and that's healing, just to be aware where our awareness goes, prana flows.
Oh
So
yeah,
there's
and
more.
I love the breath work. When we do breath work, I'm just like, oh my God.
I
People,
love it.
people, people like the first time we do hold on. Oh, it's my mother, my 91-year-old mother-in-law just brought me over some cabbage soup.
Okay,
But
great.
anyway, my son's with her, but I was like, who's that? But when we do the breath work, hi.
Hi, did you hear I just put cabbage soup in your
Yes,
refrigerator?
thank you. Thank you.
That's so sweet. I love
I
it.
love her. I love her so much.
Oh yeah, to be cooked for?
Oh, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, getting back to when they do the breath work, when we do the breath work
Yeah.
together, it's just like
Yeah.
they open their eyes and then we actually see each other. Like I know they see themselves and I know they see me and I see it's like we're the connection, right? When the nervous systems
Yeah.
are attuned like that,
Yeah.
it's just like, and they're always flabbergasted. They're
Yeah.
always just like, wow, I don't know what that was. That was amazing. So I love the
Yes.
breath work. So whenever we do breath work, I'm always real excited, but
Yeah.
just so lovely.
Beautiful.
I could go on forever, but I will be quiet now.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. And I see that Tara joined us. So Tara's not quite a grad yet, but she's in clinical. So it might be good to hear her experience too. Tara, you want to introduce yourself and who you're working with in clinicals and how you make Ayurveda, or how is Ayurveda a part of that, if it is?
If it is, hearty heart. Yes.
Yay.
Hi. I know I was able to jump on a little bit
Good.
late. Oh my gosh. Okay. My heart just feels so happy right now. So Brett and Daryl, like to see your faces again. Like brings tears to my eyes. I love it. Um, yes, I'm Tara. Hi. I am going to be wrapped up here November or December. So like right around the corner. Right around the corner.
Yeah. Yay.
Woohoo!
Yes.
Very good. Very good.
Yes,
Yay.
so close. Yes. Oh, I can't see or experience yoga therapy without Ayurveda. Personally, first went to prana for honestly, like my intuition just steered me there. I don't really know why I have no answer for that. And then I jumped right into all of it. And so it was all introduced to me together. But not only that, it just helps me understand yoga more too. And I was blessed with the opportunity to go to India with Danny to go to Somathiram and have that like fully immersed in an Ayurvedic like hospital health center and
Oh,
be there for almost 3 weeks. And it's like in my bones and my body. There's no separating the two. I'm very visual, so I see it more as when I'm going into a session or I'm meeting with a care seeker, I see it more as like kind of a circle where like one thing's on top, one thing's on the bottom, no order of importance. And it's like, what does this say? Okay, what does that say? What would this say? What would that say? And then you do this next, and then you do that next. And maybe we go backwards a little bit because I went a direction that didn't take me where I had intended to go. And then there's grace and compassion there too. So when I'm working with my care seekers, that's kind of the visual I see as they go together. They're one and the same in many aspects. Um, I call it like the feedback loop. Like the somatic feedback loop is what is digestion saying? Okay, that's what movement says. And what does the movement bring up? And then what does that say about the gunas? And then so it's just this like loop. And I think what's beautiful about a circle is like where are we really trying to get to? It's irrelevant. When do we really arrive? Well, once we arrive, we're just then back into another loop. So, any advice for anyone that's planning to take this into the professional space is like undo all of our like civilized thought on arriving and achievement and just like let it be on a continuum. That would be my best advice is like let go of thinking there's somewhere to get to with anybody. It's great when something happens in that way, right? Like, oh, blood work comes back and it's improved here, or they go to their allergist or their asthma specialist and they did the treadmill test and they're able to do this. And you're like, okay, like there are metrics and those things are beautiful, but then there's just a new starting point. It's kind of how I see it. Like, so it's kind of a set continuum. I really use, Brett said this, I believe, like seasonality both in my personal life, like it changed my personal life drastically, how I cook, what closets I organize or choose not to organize, because I'm like, oh, during Kapha season, I'll just get to that then. Like it's fine. And oh, it's Pitta season, so I'm gonna do this now. So if it's for myself or for care seekers or my 5-year-old, I really see seasonality much differently than I did prior. And day to day, I use a lot of Dinacharya when I'm working with care seekers. Um, One example that came to me as everyone was talking is I had a care seeker that would walk the perimeter of their yard all the time. She would, every night walk it and was getting bored with it, but doesn't have opportunities to get steps in. And I'm like, oh, just do it in the morning instead of at night. Like there's the Pradipakshibhavana. Like it doesn't have to be this big, robust change.
Mhm.
And then it went to okay, now we're walking in the morning and I'm bored of this. So I was like, okay, go the other direction. Who cares what time of day it is? Like if you always go right, go left and start walking the other direction. And so I think like small things can have really big impacts, and that's what is so
Yeah.
different about yoga therapy and Ayurveda than any other functional, integrative, medically adjacent, or like pure medicinal, like healing path is I just find that in sessions, like very small things have very big impacts when you find the juicy one thing that just needs a little bit of like nourishment or new perspective.
Yeah. Little hinges swing big doors.
Yeah.
Simplicity. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Traumas, Daryl, is where I'm at
Yeah.
around. I can't see the world without moving through my days without seeing traumas everywhere.
Yes.
It's just,
That's
it's
great.
beautiful. It's beautiful. And I think it always starts like with you and your own life. And I've really learned that through clinicals. I've had an extremely challenging season that I've gone through. And my therapist is like, you're just doing amazing and you're doing this. Like you can see both sides of things so well. And it's all yoga and Ayurveda, like keeping me going. And even my 14-month-old has had a lot of health issues, and I've gone kind of against what a lot of medical communities have pushed and taken care of it with all these weird little things that have just gotten us one step closer down a healing path. And the gratitude for the experience, as I'm wrapping up the clinical portion, there's definitely senioritis. You want to scratch it all and like leave and throw it away. And there's doubt and questioning. And
Senioritis.
absolutely, it exists. It does exist because I really personally love like one-on-one, in-person, intimate
Yeah.
experiences in yoga therapy. That is by far, or small group sessions,
Mhm.
small groups with very like targeted, like, we're doing cervical spine or we're doing this, and you really get into like one thing. And
Mhm.
those are my two favorite spaces to be in. I've done a lot of virtual because that's what I've needed in my life in this season to, keep exploring and expanding through the program. Um, and then one other thing I thought about saying was like, the amount of times I've like missed the mark and had to just say, that's okay. Like, yes, this would have been something great to do in that session, and you thought of it afterwards, and like, that's okay. Like, leaving things be. That's probably one area that's the hardest for me because
Mm,
we are our own critics or whatever the words are that I'm looking for.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
there's so much to choose from that there's just this level of like surrender in Ishvara Pranidhan where like
Mm-hmm.
what is
Yeah.
meant to be will be and trusting that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and we call it intuition, and I think there is an intuitive part of our practice, and it also is looking at the subtle, being able to look at the subtle through the gunas. So it might feel like intuition, and it's also this beautiful framework that Sankhya philosophy has given us. Yoga and Ayurveda come from that Sankhya philosophy. So we all may come up with a little different plan, and then there's still some common threads there with balancing the energies, the forces in the body to achieve more balance and well-being. You're all giving so much in beautiful ways. Um, how does Ayurveda support you? What is your sadhana like? And do you have any dinacharya practices that fill your cups? Uh-oh, there's silence. Jamie, how about you? Do you have any?
Or I can go.
Yeah.
So I actually kind of turned myself into a case study, actually, not too long
Yeah.
ago. In that I just share personally, I was having some issues with abnormal uterine bleeding, so kind of bleeding in between cycles. And it wasn't any, it ended up not being anything too severe, but you know, I saw one OB-GYN. This was probably like, I think this was probably about 2 or 3 years ago, and saw, you know, got an opinion from one OB-GYN, and of course, you know, they wanted to do a procedure or surgery, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Says the doctor, no, I'm not
Yeah.
doing
Right.
I felt like I need a non-operative approach, and I didn't really like the fact that I wasn't given a non-operative option, just surgery. So like I knew it wasn't anything dangerous or acutely, you know, if it was something that was bringing acute harm, then yes, Western medicine, we are great at acute care.
Yeah.
But for something that was, you know, kind of a chronic intermittent issue, I was like, I'm gonna look to my Ayurvedic practices for this. And so I actually did start on a combination of Ayurvedic herbs, and in combination, it was with castor oil packs. And I would drink my daily Ayurvedic tea. And then I think I had like I had like a very set schedule. I would do the
Yeah.
castor oil packs first thing in the morning. I found that was kind of when I could get it done with, because the day would spiral and then I wouldn't come to it. I also noticed like some side effects sometimes with that. You can get some like abdominal pelvic
Extra
cramping,
pain.
and
Yep.
especially if you time it too close with like meals. So I found that doing it first thing in the morning before I'd eaten anything, I paired it with either meditation or breathing practice. When I first started, I was great at an hour, and then I was like, oh, I don't always have an hour. So 30 minutes. And I was like, all right, 30 minutes daily for the 3 weeks that I'm not on my cycle. And then I would have my Ayurvedic herbal tea later in the day. And that was my dinacharya. And I think I did that for about 6 months, and the bleeding stopped. It regulated my cycles. And I was like, okay, so I started kind of weaning myself off and wouldn't do it as much. And I had no intermenstrual cycle bleeding for well over like a year and a half. And then when I did notice when it would start to come back, it was during periods of stress. Um, fall season, just with my constitution, I'm Vata Pitta, and Danny, you always say like attracts like, but opposites bring balance. I love fall, but fall is incredibly disruptive to my energy. I joke that I'm like, I am in a hostile relationship with the fall season because I want to enjoy it so much, but it gets me out of whack. So of course it was like, I think it was last fall, the symptoms came back and I was like, yeah, you fell out of practice. You fell out of your dinacharya. We need to bring it back. And it's amazing. Like it really, because my body had been used to it. Once I restarted that regimen, morning castor oil packs, afternoon Ayurvedic tea, the symptoms cleared right up. So I use myself as a case study and example that one dinacharya really does work.
Yeah.
Like doing that dailiness with something can not just like maintain normalcy, but it could even like help with like some real health issues and just maintain also kind of mental and emotional balance, especially during times of the year that may be more stressful to you or can get you out of balance, especially if it's like a busy season or whatever. So yeah, so that's kind of what one of the things I do. And then I kind of have I feel like that's a separate dailiness when like certain times, but then really my most go-to thing is breath work every morning. Because again, Vata Pitta, I know I need quiet and I know I need to begin the days with quiet. So it's usually breath work, meditation, prayer, and a daily devotional. And that really is that's every morning, no matter what I'm going through every morning.
Oh, I love that, Jamie. Thank you. What a beautiful case study example, too. We just got done with the Ayurveda for Women's Health course, so perfect timing. Good. Good. Anybody else, the others have any dinacharya?
My partner just has a funny observation he's made of me. He's like, I always know when you feel like you have made choices that aren't agreeing with you in the ways that you had hoped, because he's like, you just buy so many lemons and go straight. He's like, you just
The
drink
lemon
like
water,
per
the
day.
warm lemon water.
He's like, I always know.
Yes,
So I
yes.
guess that's one.
That's
for
it.
me. I'm like, all right, I just need lemon water. It's gonna fix everything.
Yeah. So good. I just started back with that too this fall. Like, this is all I need. Yeah. Great.
I'll share. I was quiet because it's like I feel like I do so many little things all day that are very like Ayurvedic, but I wanted to mention just because you guys just recently had the Ayurveda for Women's Health. So when I first started the yoga therapy program, I had lost my period, and it took me a really long time, but it was like I attribute Ayurveda 100% to me regaining my menstrual cycle back. And so that's just a side note. Like when I was really going through all of that, the Vata and Pitta pacifying that I did, I think it was like a returning to home and returning to myself. So that's just a side note. It really works for women's health. But I'll just share two things I've been doing there's three things that I've been doing this fall that have been so good for me. So I am like in a very entrepreneurial mindset, which has been so on top of fall. I'm just like so in my head all the time. So I've been needing to do a lot of Vata pacifying, like putting thoughts on paper. But I've been having bone broth in the morning, which, I think Ayurveda is very much, I don't know if that's like an Ayurvedic, I know lemon water in the morning, but I think of dinacharya as something I repeat every single day. And part of Ayurveda is, adapting to meet your needs. And I've been really needing that just protein grounding, nourishing thing in the morning. So that's been really beautiful for me. I've paired that with grounding pumpkin oats every day, which is like delicious. I make my own vata pacifying spice blend, so I cook with that. And then I've also been something I've found really helpful for me right now, fall vata, is I've actually been doing some light weightlifting around vata time of day. So in terms of combining women's health with what I need, it's not great for me to do that in the morning because it ends up just wrecking my digestion.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, and I found that like the weightlifting around vata time of that's when my mind goes billions of places, and the grounding of weightlifting. And when I say weightlifting, it's like I'm like
A
it
few
ain't,
pounds. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's just
Yeah.
been like I think the long and short of what I'm trying to say is after a long time of like playing with Ayurveda,
Yeah.
it's, I think it really comes down to finding out what's like being comfortable with testing different things and, um, finding what works for you. And I've finally like started to really figure out, okay, this is what's working for me. And it may not look the same for other people, but for me, that's been really great. So those are just a few things that like, I don't do the weightlifting thing every day, but
Yeah,
just,
yeah. And I love that not everything works for everybody and even for ourselves every season. So
right.
it might
Yeah.
be really important seasonal things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And thank you for sharing how, yeah, your cycle came back. I remember that. That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah,
Beautiful.
it works. I
It does.
agree with you on the weightlifting during Vata time. I do very light
Oh,
weights. My partner, he'll get up and hit really heavy weights or want to work out at like 5:30, 6 a.m. and that wrecks me. I have
yeah.
to do it later. And
Yeah.
the Vata time is grounding. Yeah, I feel that. Thank you, Brett. Daryl, do
I
you have a dinacharya?
I have to jump off. We are prepping for our foundation wall to get repaired tomorrow
Okay.
and have a sick baby. So there are,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes, I'm gonna jump off, but I'm so glad that I was
Thank
able to
you,
hop on for a
Tara.
little
Great
bit.
to see you.
Yes, all the
Beautiful.
love. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Hi, honey.
See ya.
All right. Are we okay? I know I want to respect your time. Can we hear Daryl's dinacharya and then any last words of advice for those of us in the middle of the Ayurveda pillar who all said they were very frustrated when we first checked in or overwhelmed with all this.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
So,
Yeah, I
yeah,
totally
you
remember that. I'm
okay to
like,
stay on just a few more minutes, all of you?
yeah.
Okay. All right, great. So, Daryl, what about dinacharya?
So dinacharya. So I have an extensive one, as you know. It involves
Yeah.
the window in my upstairs bedroom, but we won't even say that. But anyway, it's preventative mostly than treating anything because like I'm so kava. I don't have a lot of stuff going on. Like I'm just like solid, right? And always have been. So it's mostly like trying to bolster that up and maintain it. That's what my dinacharya is about. So it's all preventative. Um, and it starts in the morning with a little bit of stretching. I get out of bed and then I go to my bedroom window and I throw it open. And now my neighbor who is behind me, who walks her dog, waits for me because it's been about a year or two since I've been doing this and does a little wave and wants to hear what I have to say. But I say out loud my willingness statements. So my willingness statement is I willingly, whatever it is. And then it ends with um, I can't explain it with words. We were talking about that, Danny. I can't explain it with words, but it's mostly like a feeling of, I get emotional every time because I feel it when I talk about it.
Feel
It's
it.
a feeling of being totally connected to everything. And I try, sometimes I'm successful. It's always there, but it's deeper some mornings and not as deep other mornings. But when I get that, it's just like, I feel total love, just total and complete love. And then close the window and then go downstairs and do my breath work and my meditation and then my yoga practice. This is why I only take one client a day. And then in the Vata time also is when I do most of the really heavy physical. I just started lifting heavy again, and I'm also rock wall climbing in the afternoon. I love that, and do some HIIT workouts and things like that. And then I'm doing some follow-up education. So I have a class that I'm taking, and it's about psychology and Ayurveda. So it's together.
Yes.
And I just got done completing the Ayurvedic cleanse. Everybody, I want you to know you should do it.
That's right. You did
Amazing.
that.
It's
Amazing. Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
It
I
was
learned,
so great to have you be a part of that.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I loved it. And then I was just like, and we were on vacation in New
Yeah.
Orleans for part of that. So I was totally challenged. But I found a way. I found a way.
You found it. Yes.
And I went with my whole family. Like there were like 18 people there for my mother-in-law's 91st birthday. But you know, we'd sit down and you can imagine New Orleans, the food, right? And we'd sit down there and I'd be going, oh my God, what can I eat? You know, and they're all, because they all knew, and they all be looking down at the end of the table. What's dinner gonna get?
How's your cleanse going?
So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I learned so much more by experiencing it than by studying it on paper, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad I got to do that. So yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Beautiful.
And
Thank
that's
you.
it. Yeah, and
All
study
right.
is part of it. I review the yamas every day. That's part of what I do.
Yeah.
And all the 8 limbs of yoga. I have little cards and I look at them every morning before I meditate. And
I love
take
that.
one each day and practice it. This week I'm practicing Satya. And boy,
Good.
that's been hard.
Satya is hard. Yeah. Someone who practiced that for 7 years. Satya will and continue to. That's my anchor.
Oh my
Carol,
gosh.
I
Anyway,
love that. And when you were sharing, just how the feeling you get, and you can't put it into words, but the emotion comes.
Yeah.
I remember when you were sharing that with me during the cleanse consult, and I just felt that too. Like I could just pick up on that energy. I love that. What a beautiful sadhana. So would that be your words of wisdom to the students in the middle of their Ayurveda pillar right now, is to embody it too? Don't just...
Oh, 100%. If
I hear that as
done
great
some of the
wisdom.
things that I was studying on myself,
Yeah.
I think the frustration level would have been much less.
Yeah. Yeah. So
100%.
practice some
Yeah.
of these. Make yourself a little case study.
Yeah.
I like that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good. Brett, do you have any closing thoughts or wisdom to pass along?
Yeah. Well, in terms of the Ayurveda thing, so I wrote this down and I don't know if it'll make sense, but I truly feel like Ayurveda is a language between you and God that only you and God speak.
Mm-hmm.
And, whatever God is for you, for me, it's the universe, it's nature. And in alignment with what Daryl is saying, it's like, learn the language first. Learn the language first and foremost, embody it in yourself and let it be your own thing. Because that's the only way that you're going to be able to show up from a truly embodied space. And, I think when I was going through the yoga therapy program, I was going through so much personally that I was forced to do that first. And I could really only think about, I wasn't only thinking about myself, but that's just what it ultimately was. And I think I can show up for clients now in such an embodied, strong, and grounded presence. And I think it gets simple when you think about it that way. I don't know. Yeah, I think let's see if I wrote down anything else.
It's a language between you and God. Whew.
Yeah, I love
That's the
that.
enlightened self-care. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. It's just
Yeah.
it's changed my life.
Yeah.
So anyways, lean
Yeah.
into it.
All right. Lean into it. Okay. Jamie, how about you? Any words of wisdom to pass along to us?
Yeah. I've been thinking about how to kind of word this concisely. And I can briefly give a patient I've been working, a client that I've been working with for a few years who comes to mind in this whole setting. But I think we learned so much in this yoga therapy program that no doubt when you graduate, you're going to like go out into the world and be like so excited and so ready and have all this information and knowledge that's beautiful knowledge and beautiful experience that you'll want to share. And what what I am so grateful for and I've always appreciated about Ayurveda and yoga therapy is the focus on whole people and all of us as, or each of us as like, encompassing these layers of the koshas. Not everyone that you encounter as a client or care seeker may receive that or accept that. Wonderful if they do, but they may not. And it should not change, though, how we show up for them. And we should still show up for them, meeting them where they are and meeting them where they are with grace and compassion to be able to walk along their journey. And I remember Danny saying something, a while back about how a care seeker or a client's progress may only go so far if they do not become aware of the deeper layers of themselves. So they'll only be able to progress so far. And I actually have a client like that. I've been working with him for almost 3 years. And he does not acknowledge a spiritual layer or any existence of a God of any kind.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
Am I gonna stop working with him? Heavens no.
Yeah.
But I have observed now over time working with him that, yeah, he's only gonna get so far. We're
Yeah.
only gonna get so far. I feel
Yeah.
like there'll be times where I'm like, ooh, we really could dig through some layers, but he's
Yeah.
not there. And
Yeah.
he loves the practices. He feels better with them. He's an older
Yeah.
man with metastatic cancer. He's come
Yeah.
off opioids working with me for his chronic cancer pain. Like he's made some fabulous progress.
Did you all hear that? He's come off opioids, working with her to help to manage his cancer pain. That's huge. Thank you. Yeah.
He's awesome.
Great.
He's so
Yeah.
grateful. He even referred his wife to me, and now I've been
Yeah.
so I actually see them back to back. It's kind of
Yeah.
cool, and it's really funny because she has had she does believe in God. And so in some ways I have seen I'm not working with her for pain issues, but I am working with
Yeah.
her for kind of other mental and emotional health issues. And in
Yeah.
some ways I can almost see her progress be quicker. Like I think we've gotten farther together in the time I've been working with her, which has been about a year less than him, than like the time that I've been working with him, because he does have this like kind of a wall. Like, nope,
Yeah.
I only have 3 or 4 of the koshas. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I have some clients
in his
like that
mind,
too.
the other kosha
Yep.
doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So I just say that. So when you go out into the world as yoga therapists, like you may meet people who don't get there yet, and
Yeah.
we should always be meeting people where they are, despite
Meeting
all the
them where they
experience and
are.
all the things that we know.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful advice. And to not feel like she's not judgmental. She's just like, no, this is, and you understand you can't go deeper because that would be an act of violence. And so kind of the work, yeah. So we meet them where they're at, and they might not get through all the Panchamaya model, but he still received amazing benefits. And you're still bringing in that spiritual presence because you are so compassionately walking beside him. So, yeah, that's great advice. Thank you all. It's wonderful. Are you taking clients? Can I pass along your email to these lovely humans here in case they want to work with you? Everybody taking clients? Yeah, okay, wonderful. And let me know if you need anything at all. Really grateful for your time today and showing up for all of us and all of the amazing work, really good work that you're doing in the world. The world needs yoga therapists. So thank you. Keep doing what you're doing and let me know how I can support you.